What's up, fam? My name is Kiahonfire and welcome back to Conan Exiles. Today we'll be doing a video on the best healing items in the game and be looking over some of them in general and looking into all the information. So I'm going to start off with my top 5 healing items of all time statistically. Please note before we start the video, I am a level 60 character with no vit points in my character. So that means I have nothing affecting any of the raw healing amounts in here. So just for a quick example, so you know what I'm kind of talking about, potions do not heal like a set amount of health. They will heal an even greater amount the higher your maximum health is. So for example, if you're having like 40 vit points in your character, your health will be 528. So your healing amount from taking, say, a potion, like an aloe potion, will be 320. So it has different percentages on how much it will heal you, depending on what potion you take. And that was just a rough example, not necessarily saying aloe extract provides that amount of HP. And food can vary as well on its grade, so like the low, medium, and high. The high will always provide the best kind of healing and regeneration in there. And that's different as well, and with bandages it's more like immediate health, so it'll immediately apply it into you. So I hope that kind of gives you an idea of what I'm talking about, and I thought I'd clear that up before we start, because you might be like, well Kaya, these potions actually heal me more than that thing over there, and I'm like, hang on a minute. So that's just to note beforehand, because it can get a little bit confusing. So starting at our first one, number 5, is aloe soup. That will provide a 75 HP regeneration. So that's 5 points of regeneration over 15 seconds. Then it will apply that amount of healing to you. At number 4, we have infused aloe extract. This one's quite hardy to get, but it should regenerate about 50 regeneration there, and it will do 5 points over 10 seconds. In third place we have silken wraps, which will heal up to 50 HP points, 10 HP for 5 seconds, so it is one of the quickest healers. Plus remember, wraps will remove bleed as well, so that's why it's higher than the aloe infused. At our second place we have Dechetto's Feast. This will restore 90 HP, 5 points of HP over 15 seconds. The feast can be a little bit confusing because they have 2 different bars of regeneration, so it should all be in 10 seconds, but there's one buff giving you 5 seconds and another giving you 10. So at first place is Jebel's Feast. This will restore 120 HP, 6 points of HP over 2 times 10 seconds. So that is a lot of HP. So to put it in perspective for you, I have put all of them together in order with the tags next to them so you know what you're looking at. And to be able to tell which one have stopped first, I'll give you an example. The Silken Wraps is the quickest healer out of them all. It stops roughly at 110, and then you can see it slowly ticking one by one. That's when it's gone into soothing effect, so the actual effect of the temperature in your area is now just giving you 1 point of healing every second. So it has stopped roughly at 110, so that is the stop of the regeneration buff on that. So that gives you an idea how much it's going up, roughly. So there you go. Some of the other things take a little bit longer to heal. As you can see, Silken Wrap has done it, bang, out the park. The other ones are slowly ticking up, but they eventually get to a really good point, such as the Jebel Feast. It took its time, but it got higher than the rest of them, etc. And Dechetto is only a tiny little bit after that. So I hope that kind of gives you an idea of the different healings without any vitality points in at all. As an honourable mention onto this list, something that is really easy to make that heals like a king is Haunch Meat. Yes, it only does 40 HP, but the stuff is so easy to get and is a really nice healer. Now, as a second addition to this mention, you might be wondering why I'm mentioning it at all when it's so much lower than the other ones. Well, some things you can actually stack. So here on this example, I have an aloe soup and a haunch meat. So this is a healing soup and a healing food. One is mid-grade, one is high-grade. The actual cooked haunch is high-grade, and the aloe is mid-grade. So I've combined these two to give me a better healing effect. Yes, I'm using 2 products at once, but it will give me health much quicker, and I've used a combination. Now you can use a combination of certain things. Some things do not actually stack, but a lot of things will actually stack, so do test it around, see what works best for you. And also, please do try out other high-grade foods, because they can also heal up to this kind of amount. They do a lot of good stuff. including the feast. There is a few feasts I didn't mention because they can have different effects and they can't be good in some areas. So, example of that is the exotic feast. It actually does 100 health regeneration. That's great, right? However, it doesn't work in all areas. It will only work in the cold because it will provide a strong heat effect. So it's only good in the snow. That is different because all the other items I mentioned are good absolutely everywhere. You can use them anywhere and be just fine. They will not apply any temperature effects. Hence why I did not mention some of the feasts that will give you a little bit more, such as the exotic feast. Now that's the main bulky part of the video out of the way, we now can go and look at some other alternatives. You may be thinking those items that I have mentioned to you are a little bit too difficult for you right now, and perhaps you'd like to know about some knowledge on some other healing products, and what else can suit, and what options there are for you. So I'm going to be covering that in the rest of the video for those who want to know and are interested in it. And we go back to basics. The very first product you probably ever used was probably an aloe potion to heal. This one will actually heal you 3 points for 10 seconds, making the total 30 points of healing. It is a very basic healer, very easy to make, and it is apparently 60% worse than the infused aloe extract. However, it's definitely 100% easier to obtain and make. Next thing we're going to look at is the Golden Lotus Potion. Now this is a potion that I don't think is worth making at all, and I wouldn't bother with it at all for any of the aspects that it gives, unless you like a little extra charisma in your life. For healing, it only gives 3 for 5 seconds of regeneration, so that will equal up to the bonus of 15. So I do not recommend this potion in the slightest for the cost it takes to make. I do not like it. It makes you drunk. It gives you extra charisma, and the only good thing it really gives you is the additional grit. So I don't like it, I wouldn't make it, and do not bother with it. Now I want to move on to wraps. There are 3 types of wraps in the game: healing wraps, numbing wraps, and silken wraps. These are really, really good if you want to stop bleeding effects really quickly. However, you cannot move when you use them, otherwise it will stop you using them. So let's start with the normal healing wrap. I'll take that. That's given us 4 points of healing every second for 5 seconds. So that has given us about 20 points of healing just for the green numbing wrap. Plus, it's going to stop any bleeding happening at all. So now if I go and decrease my health again to give you an idea and use the next one. Now we're going to use the numbing wrap. So I use that. That gives us 8 points of healing every second for 5 seconds. So that gives us about 40 HP for using one of those. Plus gets rid of bleed immediately, unlike potions that won't do that. So our next case is really interesting because it's not actually a consumable, it's a weapon. This weapon's called the lifeblood spear. And what it basically does, it will heal 1 point every 5 seconds. Doesn't sound special, does it? However, it is quite special because it can heal right through damage. So if something's spanking your ass, then it will still continuously heal you. Why that is happening, no matter what, if it hitting you, you know, it's still going to heal you. So that's the nice thing about the lifeblood spear. Also, if you're just sitting around and you don't have any consumables on you, you're not in combat or anything, you can sit out, combine the lifeblood regeneration with the soothing buff, and of course just holding that weapon is going to naturally heal you over time. So if you don't have anything to waste or spend on healing, then this could be a good alternative for you. Next one I want to go over is the healing arrows. Not only is this good for you, but it's also good for your thralls. So if you want to fight alongside your thrall and keep you both healing, well then you can use a healing arrow, because this is going to do exactly that. It's going to have an area of healing around you both. And the cloud actually lasts for quite a long time, which is really nice, and as long as you're in the cloud you will regenerate a lot faster than you will with just a soothing buff. Also, if you don't have a soothing buff, of course it's going to be really a nice addition as well. But there you go, you can make healing arrows that are going to help you out a lot, and you could use them pretty much with any bow as well. Now we'll go over some more food healers. So we're going to start off with the actual herbal tea. You might have seen this before, it's pretty good stuff. But pretty much is what this is actually going to do is it's going to heal 3 points over 10 seconds, giving you 30 regeneration. So it's pretty decent tea and it's very hydrating. The next one is an actual god food, so ambrosia from the first shrine of Mitra. It's quite easy stuff to make, and it is a nice starter offer if you're starting off on the Conan Exiles world. It will do 3 points over 10 seconds, so that's 30 HP, just like the herbal tea. Now we'll be diving into our fridge to get ourselves some cooked abyssal meat from the abyssal remnant. So that thing is a boss in the dregs, so this one will give you 45 HP, 3 points for 15 seconds, so that's a split between 10 and 5 seconds, so in total it'll take you about 10 seconds to get that amount of healing. So it's a pretty decent one, and there you go, there's another option. Now we're going back to god food. We have the yog meat, so the purified flesh made from, using the yog cleaver on bodies. So this one is pretty decent as well, 30 HP, 3 points for 10 seconds to get that amount of regeneration. Well, I hope this helped you gain some knowledge about healing items in Conan Exiles. If you'd like to see more guides, you can look in the playlist down below. I have a lot of them. But anyway, let me know what your favourite healing product is, and thank you for watching. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!